Hey guys, welcome back to my channel. If you're new here, my name's Erin. I am a third-year urology resident. I do videos on this channel, mainly I've been leaning towards vlogs about my life in residency, but I'm trying to do more medical school content, like applying to residency content, stuff like that. So today I'm going to do a video about med school versus undergrad. This is a huge transition point, and a lot of people think, oh, I know it'll be different, but I'm still going to school full time, it'll kind of be the same experience. And for me, it's not. So obviously this was going off my personal experience. I'm sure everyone has a different experience in med school and a different experience in undergrad, but this is what I found the main differences were. So I hope you enjoy this video. If you do, please don't forget to subscribe. Let's jump in. So the first major difference in kind of studying in classes and things like that is in medical school, you really have to study every day and keep up with the material every day because there's this huge onslaught of material that you have to know very, very well, not just for exams, but for your life and for treating patients. In undergrad, I found it was more oh, if I have an exam, I'll study a couple days before, but I'm not gonna study for every class every day. And you can't do that in medical school. Another big difference is you're kind of just taking one class at a time. You're in one block at a time. You're not jumping from history to English to math, and you have different things to study for and different homework assignments and stuff. You're kind of learning as a block, one thing at a time. So you have one, you'll obviously go through different systems and you'll do different things a day, but my whole neurology block was together. My whole bugs and drugs block was together. So that was helpful because you're not jumping around so much. You kind of have one thing to study and get to know that really well. For me, also, you had way less structured class time in medical school versus undergrad. So my class schedule, I had 2 hours of lecture a day and then 2 hours of lab or small group or little stuff like that. So I only had, it was 8 to 12, and then my whole afternoons were all free. Some days I had volunteering and stuff, but for the most part, mostly free. Obviously that's not the case in medical school. In college. I feel you're in class a lot more during the day. You have night class, day class, some classes are every day, some classes are 3 times a week. I felt I spent a lot more time in class. And so medical school is not like that. You have a lot more unstructured time to study. Kind of along the same lines, you don't always have to go to lecture in med school. This is for my med school. I don't know if every med school is like this, but they would tape every lecture, and class was not mandatory. So the small groups or the labs or the ones where you had to be in groups answering questions or physically had to be there for anatomy lab, that was mandatory and you signed in. But for my lectures, you could just watch them online. And I originally did go to lecture my first year and then realized that I would just rewatch the lecture anyway. So I stopped doing that second year. And I think that was, for me, the better way to study. But it was nice, that things aren't completely dependent on attendance. Another kind of difference in learning styles is in undergrad, I felt you had more homework and more home reading, learning off of books. In med school, really a lot of it is learning off of lecture. For me, I would study mainly off of the lectures that we were given in our class. So it was kind of a different learning style. You had books to supplement and there was suggested readings, but most of it was off of the lectures that you give and the slides that you had. So you had to make sure to take good notes. And then the exam structure is obviously different. Like I said, you're taking kind of one class at a time. So you have one exam that you have to focus on. And for us, it was about once a month. So you'd study every day and it would all culminate in this one exam per month. For us, it was all multiple choice. There was no written portion. And then kind of, for anatomy, you'd go into the anatomy lab and they'd have cadavers laid out and you had to identify certain structures, or they'd ask the question, what feeds into this artery, or what is the supply to this, or where does this nerve come from. So it was like a lot different than my college classes. Kind of more, moving on to more lifestyle wise, in med school, for me at least, I found that I was a lot more conscious of money. Money was a lot tighter. I was more conscious of living off loans. There was no meal plan, so you were buying all your food. I was living off campus, so I had to like pay rent every month, versus for me in college, like I lived on campus for most of the time, so I wasn't paying rent every month. Like they just like lump summed me. I was on a meal plan for like all of it, so I didn't have to worry about buying groceries. So I was a lot more conscious of money in med school, which was kind of stressful, but obviously too like a part of real life and good to kind of be more adult. In general, I do feel like I felt more adult in med school. Like I was still in school, still school full time, but obviously you're learning things for a future career, versus college, you're kind of learning things sometimes for a future career, but honestly sometimes just for fun or just to learn. But for me, like in med school, you're learning things actually for your future career. You're obviously older, people had husbands, people had children, like your friends were in a different spot, which definitely made me feel more adult. And you just felt like you had more responsibility. I think you were also treated like more of an adult, which is good. That's what you needed, but it's just kind of hard to reconcile. Like you've been in school your whole life. You're still in school, but you're an adult. For me, I did not go out as much in med school. Some people did, but in general, I found like I really buckled down in med school, which was good for me. I needed that. And so I didn't go out during the week. Not that I really went out that much in college anyway. Like I was known for not really going out, but there was way less of like a party environment and more of a serious environment. And it was really nice. It was nice to be surrounded by people who were also interested in that. It was amazing. The one thing I do have to say that felt kind of the same was, obviously not everyone has this, but for me, all of my friends lived in the same apartment building as me. So there was like a group of 10 of us and we all lived in the same apartment building and we were like friends with each other. And it felt like a dorm, which was amazing. But yeah, those were kind of the big similarities and differences mainly differences between med school and undergrad. I'm happy to do another one of these if you guys are interested. Please let me know what type of videos you want to see, and don't forget to subscribe. I'll see you next time. Bye.